Welcome everyone to Ultimate Gamer Podcast, episode 13. Wow, we actually made the cursed number 13. It's Friday. Oh my god. Well, it's not Friday the 13th, so don't worry about that. So as you can already hear, Kevin.
Hey everyone.
So, Kevin, what did Cryomore hit today?
Well, currently Crymore is at $99,000. They're almost 40,000 above their initial goal, and I think let me just check to see if they've hit the 100,000 yet. I'm not sure. I think they might have, but if they have, damn.
Let's see. I'm loading up. No,
not yet. They're few hundred away, but yeah, they're getting there.
$99,376, 2,251 backers, and there's 24 days to go on this Kickstarter. Definitely a great thing. They've also changed a bit when it comes to the pledges. They added 3 more, and they're going to include a physical copy of the game. Have you seen those?
What?
They're going to include a physical copy of the game in 3 of the pledges.
Yeah, I saw that. It's like, though I think it's for like those who got the 250.
No,
you know,
it's not.
No, I mean, but
there's one called the Physicalist Pledge.
I was about to say it's $20 above. I know.
That's $120. This one. It only comes with the physical version of the game. Then there's the Legendary Cryolist Pledge, which I actually switched my pledge to. And it's the $270. It includes basically everything I had in the Master Cryolist Pledge, but also comes with the physical version. They also... Wait, I think that's 1, 2... And... the Steampunk Pledge that comes with the physical version of the game. So, yeah, definitely check it out if you have yet to do so. We have very interesting topics to talk about. Some that are going to be very controversial. Some of them that, are going to be very interesting. And we're going to start off... Actually, I'm going to allow Kevin to just start off. We're going to do the order for Kevin, so he understands what we're doing here, is 3, then 4... then 1, and then 2. Okay?
Okay.
So you take the reins. I'm probably not going to talk for number 3 because I really don't care.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Recently, in an interview with Video Gamer, the producer of Resident Evil Revelations, Masahika Kawada, admitted that Capcom isn't too hot on the idea of returning to older IPs. He was quoted as saying, "Capcom has obviously never shied away from bringing back our older IPs to new generations, but I do think it's more important for us to focus on creating new IPs as we move forward." In other words, they're more interested in making newer IPs than going after the older ones. Now, this is both a good thing and a bad thing, because if you remember a few years ago, Capcom had this ass-backwards idea that 75% of all game development must be put towards prequels, sequels, and remakes. And it took, if I can remember correctly, I think Keiji Inafune had actually, he forced several prototypes to go over budget just so they could start development of them. So on one hand, this is a good thing, but on the other hand, it kind of sucks because, for games like Onimusha, Dino Crisis, and Breath of Fire, we might never see another game from them in even longer time, because Onimusha, I think the last game was released like in 2005 or 2006. Dino Crisis last game was 2, and if I can remember correctly, Breath of Fire, we haven't had a new Breath of Fire game in like 10 years. So
I've never heard of Breath of Fire. What was that?
it was Capcom's foray into the JRPG, and they were actually pretty good. But they ended like the last game was on the PS2. It's called Breath of Fire Dragon Quarter.
Cool.
So yeah, it kind of sucks that they're not gonna that they're focusing more on IPs, but at the same time, it's kind of good because if you think about it, I think Resident Evil 6 bit them in the ass.
No shit.
No, not just reviews that like because it really showed because if you remember they were focusing more on like Resident Evil and Street Fighter. Like that was their main focus for like what 2 years,
Yeah.
and it bit them in the ass. And I think they've learned from that. So hopefully we'll get some new stuff, but at the same time I'm hoping that they might work on other older IPs that really haven't gotten any attention in a long time.
Yeah.
Specifically, Mega Man Legends 3. So
You're still gunning for that, aren't you?
Capcom is not going to see a dime from me until I get Mega Man Legends 3 in my hands.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm not buying a single game from them.
I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to the Resident Evil Revelations for, they're going to do, I think, PC, Xbox 360, and PS3.
Yeah.
The thing was, the Revelations was, it wasn't a ridiculously great Resident Evil game, but it's far better than Resident Evil 5 and 6. We'll put it that way. It actually came back to some of the roots of why I liked Resident Evil so much, but it still had a lot more action. But you can definitely tell that Resident Evil 6 sucked. I mean, it's now half price.
Yeah, and I think that's the reason why they're going back to Revelations.
Because it was good.
I have a feeling that they're reselling it on consoles just to see if lightning would strike twice. Because Revelations was actually not only was it critically well received, but I think commercially it was well received as well. Let me check that up. Yeah, I think like Revelations did very good. John?
Yeah, I'm listening.
So, what did you think of Revelations?
I liked it. I mean, I especially liked the last time on Resident Evil Revelations, and it,
that
kind
was
of
really cool.
repeated a few things, got you back into it. Definitely a great game. I liked that it was a little bit more scarier than other games in the series, but I hated that it just bounced around all over the place.
Yeah.
I wish it was just entirely on that cruise ship. It would have been cooler, you know what I mean? I mean, if you think about it, they made an entire game based in a mansion. Why couldn't they do that for a cruise ship? Cruise ship is bigger. But other than that, I thought it was a great game, and even my girlfriend got into it. I was actually very shocked.
Really?
She's a big Mario person, but no, Resident Evil Revelation, she really actually liked it.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool stuff. But yeah, I think that's what it is. I think they're re-releasing the game because they just want to see if, like I said, lightning will strike twice.
Probably would.
Yeah.
I mean, because a lot of people complained when the game came out on the 3DS. Everyone was like, why can't you release this on the PS3 and 360? People were very pissed off that it was a handheld-only game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it will sell very well.
Yeah.
Let's just hope they print the title correctly this time.
We're not going to get Resident Evil Revelate tons.
Yep.
Anyway, moving on to the next topic. Grand Theft Auto 5 release date. Coming out September 17th for the PS3 and Xbox 360. Let's just hope that there's a PC version in the works.
Exactly. I'm not going to drop a single penny on a console version because
No.
if you've played Grand Theft Auto 4, the PC version blows away the console version. It's an overall better experience. But yeah, it sucks that we have to wait till the end of the summer for it. But I mean, it's one of those things where if fans make enough noise, they're going to be stupid not to release a PC version of it.
Actually, there might be a PC version coming out
I think there will be. I mean,
because
there's only really one game that they didn't release on PC, and that was Red Dead Redemption.
well, the reason why I'm saying that is because recently there was a listing on Amazon France for Grand Theft Auto 5 on PC.
Oh, then maybe it will come
So,
out. Maybe they'll
yeah,
announce it at E3 or something.
hopefully. I mean, I would really like to get it for PC because honestly, I see no reason to get it on 360 and PS3. You know, because I mean, I've played 4 on your rig, and it looks not only does it look a lot better, but it just plays a lot better.
Yeah, it's very smooth on the frame rates and stuff.
Yeah.
Something when I tried the I mean not the PS3, the Xbox 360 version of the game, I was like, this is horrible. Like it was just such a fuzzy, blurry mess, and the frames were just all over the place.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely something looking forward to. I mean, I wish they would just show off even more content so you can get more excited about the game. I'm really looking forward to the comedy stations that they always do. You know what I mean?
Oh man, I always love the talk radio.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Laszlo.
Chatterbox is still my favorite.
Definitely a good one. And I think they did a very good job on Grand Theft Auto 4's talk radio. You know, I love the
Funny
fake
stuff.
judge TV show that they did
Yeah.
where they would like mutilate and just like kill the person that loses the court case.
Was that on the radio?
Yeah, it was
I
Judge
remember.
Gravy.
Oh.
And then they're like, "What? You shit in the air filter? Oh, that is funny." And then like he's like saying that his wife needs to be killed by a pack of wolves. It was really well done. I liked it. And then they
I
did
remember.
all the political ones. They had a specific show that was a liberal married a conservative, and they're just arguing back and forth.
On San Andreas.
Oh, was that San Andreas?
That was San Andreas.
No,
Yeah,
but
that
they
was-
also had a version of it on Grand Theft Auto 4. It was called shoot, I forget what it was.
I remember the tight end zone on San Andreas. That was funny.
Oh, how did that one go? I don't
That was
remember
the
it.
sports one.
Oh, yeah. And then they had like the fake celebrity one on Grand Theft Auto 4.
Yeah.
It's like if a celebrity eats it or shits it, it's gonna be on Flash or not Flash. It was like some really gay name for it. That was funny.
Yeah.
Good times.
Good times.
Yeah, I really want them to actually one day create like a live internet stream and constantly come up with these jokes. Or have it where
That
it's
would be
updatable in like Grand Theft Auto 5 where they're constantly releasing new talk shows and, you know, having fun with it. Like,
That would be interesting. Constantly updated radio.
yeah, I think that's what they should do. I mean, of course it would cost more, but
Yeah.
the fans will love it. All right, so that's number 4 on the list. This next one we discovered on Monday, and we're not too thrilled about it. Now, as you guys know, I bought Dead Space 3. It will ship within the next few days, and I bought the PC version. And I've only played Dead Space on PC. I've never really dealt with the console versions. Now, there was a article that came out on Monday that one of the main developers on the project for Dead Space 3 said that the PC version will have nothing really special or different or diverse about it. For consistency, they're saying that it will play similarly to a console version. Now, of course, us PC gamers were pissed off about this. It's one of those things where why should the PC version be dumbed down just to suit a 7-year-old console?
Exactly. Yeah. It's stupid, especially since and this is what gets me reading the article. It says that it will not have DirectX 11 support or HD textures. I mean, what's the point?
That's bullshit.
That is bullshit. I mean, you play a PC, you play with a PC not just because of good games, but because of also graphics. At least that's one of the reasons.
It is one of the reasons because
And
the PC hardware is
the
good.
fact that you can't optimize the game to reflect that, that's just
It's going to
that's
continue to be
stupid.
an issue until the next generation consoles come out because I mean, you really look at it as
Yeah.
yeah, the PC version is going to shine because it's running on hardware that's 7 years newer. You know, and the thing is, it's ridiculous that how much longer those damn consoles are running. And you could definitely see there is a substantial quality difference between a console game and a PC game.
Yeah.
And there's no way you can argue it. You look at any game, even look at Crisis 2. A lot of people are like, oh, they look the same. No, there's no chance in hell they look the same. You know, the PC version plays smoother, it has better quality textures, it runs at the native resolution. And this is one thing that, I mean, I'm pretty sure Dead Space 3 will run at native resolution. But the fact that it's not going to feature anything with DirectX 11 is bullshit. And the fact that it's not going to have high resolution textures, there's no such thing as HD textures. There's
Yeah.
just no way. High resolution. We'll see. I'm not particularly looking forward to the game. I mean, it's one of those things where I have to play it because it's part of the series that I really love. Even Jim Sterling says it's one of his favorite game series of this generation.
He loves the game, but he hates the business,
Exactly.
he said. And
That's because EA sucks ass.
honestly, I would like to get the first Dead Space, but after that, I don't want to give EA my money.
So just download my version of it.
Yeah, because here's the thing: is like I don't like EA. I've always said they're the evil empire of the video game industry. They're like the Death Star. They go around the galaxy, they look for planets, in this case, companies, and then they just blow them up. You know,
Exactly.
in the case of like Westwood Studios, Origin Systems, Bullfrog, and I don't support that. I don't support EA, and that's why I am proud to say that I will be pirating SimCity because I don't want to deal with their bullshit. I don't want to deal with the always on DRM and just all the crap that game has to go through.
Definitely. I mean, it's a great game being destroyed and mutilated by an evil corporation.
Exactly, exactly. Like just ah. Well, I mean, you heard about another thing about Dead Space 3. You heard about the in-game money, the money you can actually use for it.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, it plays similar to Asphalt for like iOS.
Yeah.
Asphalt, you pay $10 for the game, and then it tries to ask you to pay more to get like further in the game quicker.
Exactly. And Dead Space 3 is doing the same thing where when you get to the workbench, it advertises spending real money on like parts and upgrades.
Hmm. I'm pretty
It's
sure somebody's going to find a way around that. I mean,
Oh, I hope so.
especially on the PC version, you can modify game saves. So I'm sure someone's going to take a hex editor and modify it so you can unlock unlimited parts or something like that. I'm pretty sure
But
that will be
just
available.
it also sucks that they're using a pretty good business, tactic. They're completely ruining it. I mean, free to play was always a good thing because it allowed gamers to play free games, but at the same time, they could spend money if they want.
Yeah, the best example is
You
League
know,
of Legends.
League of Legends, Team Fortress 2.
Well, Team
Um,
Fortress 2 wasn't a free to play at first. It
I
was a
know, but now it's
full-fledged
free.
game. But yeah,
I
at least they eventually turned it into a free to play.
Was Alien Swarm free to play? Because I know it's
Yes,
free, but I
Alien
mean,
Swarm is still free. It's
I know
not
it's
it's not a free to play.
uh,
It's just a free game.
okay,
There's no way
but
you can
it's
spend money on it.
okay, but it's like I mean, a lot of MMOs are going that way. World of Warcraft, I know, is doing that. I think, but it's like now it's being used in order to It's being used in games where you actually have to pay for the full thing. So you have
Exactly.
to pay for the full game, but then if you want all these little BS add-ons, you have to pay for them.
We'll just call it mini DLC.
Exactly. It's microtransactions
Yep,
or mini DLC, as you said, and it's bullshit.
it really is.
Complete bullshit. I can understand in a game like, say, Farmville or, like you said, League of Legends, but in a $60 game,
Definitely, it's
if you're
bullshit.
gonna do, and it's not just EA that's doing that. Square Enix did that with Final Fantasy, All the Bravest,
Yeah.
a game that you have to pay for, and then if you want extra stuff, you have to pay for it even more.
Yep.
Ugh.
And then they cry and complain, "Oh, the game didn't sell well." I wonder why. As I said, the biggest example of them doing it wrong was Namco Bandai's Ridge Racer for the Vita.
And look how that bit them in the ass.
It did. It was a
Yeah.
complete failure because no one's stupid. Well, there were a few stupid people that bought the game, but I just think it was such a bullshit thing. What they should have done, release all the DLC for free, but no. They're money grubbing assholes.
Exactly.
So, I'm going to transition to, before I give you number two, and this is number two will be the main focal point of this episode, and also the title of this show. But we're going to focus on Nintendo a little bit, and this is going to be going towards an interesting thing that some gamers have noticed, but where are the third-party games?
Ah, very interesting.
Yeah, you and I talked about this for a little while.
Yeah, it's how do I say this? It's bullshit.
It
You know,
is.
it's you have a bunch like first off, the Wii U is perfect for porting games from the 360 and PS3 because it has all the controls on the gamepad, everything. But unfortunately, you have game developers who think that they have to do something original. They have to put something in there that hasn't been done before.
And what's stopping them from doing that? Oh, God forbid a developer actually has creativity and originality.
For example, recently, Crystal Dynamics brought in an interview, one of the designers was asked about the possibility of booting it over to the Wii U. Porting it over to the Wii U.
Porting what over?
Sorry, Tomb Raider.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Um, Even though there was a petition out and everything to put this, and they got the right amount of signatures, they said this. The creative director, Noah Hughes, was quoted as saying, "All three consoles are really trying to deliver roughly the same experience, but delivered best on each platform. And I think something like the Wii U often asks you to do something unique, based on a unique interface. That's something as a gamer I love, but it's something you don't want to do half-heartedly as a developer." Here's the question. Why do you have to do something unique? Or do you really need to do anything unique?
You don't have to.
You don't. And
The selling point
just,
of Wii U versus the Wii was that it was everybody's console, but it was also for you. Meaning that you can use it however you want. You don't have to put something on the screen. If anything, you could put mirror exactly what you're seeing on your television on the gamepad, or you could just have the logo for the video game on the gamepad. Or I mean, you don't really have to do much.
the
And
perfect examples,
uh-huh.
I would think, are Call of Duty Black Ops 2 for the Wii U.
Yeah.
Because there's barely any difference between that and the 360 version.
I mean, one extra bonus you get is a full point of the map.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
and you get to see your
you-
loadout on it. I mean, there's
can,
nothing special.
You can choose your kill streaks, all that kind of stuff, but you don't have to use the touchpad in order to use your kill streaks. You can still use the D-pad.
Exactly. You can
So it
ignore
doesn't.
that screen. You could put a
It's,
giant post-it note over the screen and it will not interfere with the ability to play the game.
and if you have a Pro controller, it adds a bonus extra screen, an
Exactly.
extra map on the gamepad. So you don't need to do really anything special. Another example is Darksiders 2 and Ninja Gaiden 3, Razor's Edge, which they didn't really. All they did was they were direct ports. They added DLC, but they didn't put anything unique in the game.
Huh.
I mean, Ninja Gaiden 3, they had they had buttons on the screen, but those were like quick ninja move buttons, I think.
Huh.
Like if you're to do your ninjutsu thing, you just had to if you wanted to just quickly use it, you could just press the button
Yeah,
on the
they
screen.
did that
It was
on
just
3DS version of Super Street Fighter 4.
yeah, that's a very good point. They did do that.
They put
Uh,
combos on it.
they put extra uh, item slots on the screen of Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time 3D.
Exactly. I
You
mean,
know,
you don't have to go crazy. You don't have to use the screen at all. If anything, you could have it just be a blank screen, a blank white screen, or a blank black screen.
now
You don't have to do anything. Nintendo's not holding a gun to their head and saying, "Hey, look, you have to. You're not allowed to release anything on our system unless you're going crazy." You don't. Every single game that's coming out for PS3 and 360 can run on the Wii U, hands down. There's no arguing that point. It can be
though
done.
though there is an example of overkill, and that's Batman Arkham City on the Wii U.
Yes.
The game doesn't like because there's like you can control your remote control batarangs by tilting the Wii U, and you can like do all this touchscreen stuff. You don't need that. They didn't really need to add all that stuff. They could have just done a direct port. That's it.
Exactly. And just to remind you, gamers would be okay with this.
Yeah. Yeah. Another example was let's see. I'm trying to find it. The Ken, what's his name? His name's Ken Levine, I think. Of shit. He's the guy who did BioShock Infinite.
Okay.
And he said the exact same thing. He said how, oh well, we would like to put BioShock Infinite on there, but we need to do something different.
No.
No, you don't.
You fucking made it where you could play the Vita version with the PS3 version.
Yeah.
Why can't you do it with the Wii U?
I don't know.
All I'm saying is at this point we're hearing nothing but excuses.
Yeah.
There's no technical rhyme or reason why they can't do it. They're just
Yeah.
pulling excuses out of their ass, and just tell us an honest answer. Say to us, is it because you're afraid that you're wasting money by releasing it on the Wii U? Just say it. If you don't see it as a viable platform, just say it.
Are you afraid of Nintendo controlling you and telling you what to do with the game?
Just
Just
say
say
it.
it. Like it's mind-boggling.
Just
It really is.
my biggest pet peeve with people, and Kevin, you can attest for this. My biggest pet peeve is when people come up with lame, dumb excuses for something. Either tell me straight up or shut the fuck up. That's my policy with things. If you give me the runaround and, well, it's because I can't do this. Well, people have already proven you wrong. And as Kevin has stated, the Black Ops 2 showed that you didn't have to go crazy. You didn't have to go over the top with it. It could be equivalent to the PS3 version and 360 version. You don't have to go crazy.
Yeah. Just do a direct port, nothing special, nothing different.
Exactly. But
And gamers will love it.
let's just look forward to E3 this year. Maybe Nintendo will be able to convince these developers to stop being dumbasses and just finally release games. Because, I mean, for me personally, it's not affecting me because I buy multi-platforms on the PC. I buy console, first-party exclusives on the console it comes out for.
Yeah.
For me, Zombie U, which I just bought, excellent game by the way. You look at the Nintendo Land, which wasn't, I could have lived without it. New Super Mario Bros. U, Okay, that's a game that you're not going to find on a PS3. You're not going to find it on an Xbox 360, and you're not going to find it on a PC. That's mainly why I have a Wii U. But it bothers me knowing that there are gamers out there that can't afford a gaming rig, or, they can only buy one console, and, they're not going to pick Nintendo if these developers won't release their games for it. And it's a shame. It really is.
It is. I mean, yeah.
All right, so we're going to go on to our next topic, and this is the biggie. Sony's special announcement on February 20th. Now, here's, there's no exact proof, or there's nothing out there that says this is exactly what they're going to announce, but I can come up with concrete reasons why it would be an announcement of the next generation PlayStation console. Now,
which everyone already thinks it is.
Okay. Now, hear me out. Here's a reason why I think Sony is going to announce it on February 20th. If you think about E3, you're competing against other people about getting basically news coverage. Let's say Microsoft decides to announce their console, Sony decides to announce their console at E3. Your attention's going to be divided between two different consoles. The limelight is not going to be focused on one particular thing. You're going to have announcements from Nintendo that will hit the front page of IGN and Destructoid. You're going to have, news that comes out of Sega, or news that comes out of EA, and news that comes out, it's just such a cluster of news that one particular thing isn't going to stand out. And well, you look at it's basically like Apple. Why isn't Apple at CES? Well, Apple doesn't want to compete with their news. They want to have their time where everybody is going to focus on them and them only.
Well, or look at Nintendo when they do the Nintendo Direct.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
they did it right before E3, so you got pumped up and like, yes, I can't wait.
And of course, same thing with this. I mean, now that we know that Wind Waker HD and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is coming out, what does Nintendo have planned up their sleeves?
Well, they already said, hey, look, we're going to announce more games. You're going to hear about a Mario. You're going to hear about a Mario Kart. You're going to hear about another Zelda game. You're going to hear more about Super Smash Brothers in a very early playable form. They're going to show that off. So now you're pumped. You're like, yes, when E3 comes out, I'm definitely going to look at Nintendo. I'm going to see, okay, what is it they're releasing?
Maybe that's what this is. Maybe they're Sony's doing their own version of a Nintendo Direct.
Well, it's not like it's not like this is really the first time Sony copied a Nintendo idea. I'm serious.
You got a good point. I'm not lying. I'm not disagreeing with you, but
and I mean, it makes sense. It would make sense. I don't necessarily think it makes sense for them to do it this early. I think if they would have done it, let's say, end of April or even the beginning of May, it would have made more sense, because now if let's say they do announce the PlayStation 4 this month, you have March, April, and beginning of May for your news to die down before E3. Or it could be the flip side. People are getting so pumped up that they're only going to want to know more. The rumor mill starts spreading and all that stuff. But it's going to be interesting. And then again, this isn't the first time this has happened. Look at Microsoft. They announced the Xbox 360 on a private Spike TV television show that they did with Elijah Wood.
Really?
Yeah. You don't remember that?
No, I don't remember that. No, I remember when
the Xbox 360 was not announced at an E3. It was announced on its private-owned television show that they did. And, it's basically like the VGAs on steroids. That's how Microsoft chose to announce it. And they had Elijah Wood doing it.
I remember when it launched. I actually watched it live.
Yeah, they called it 0 Hour.
Yeah, that was something.
As I said, I'll have to give it to Microsoft. They really do know how to...
Hype
market.
Something.
They know how to market. They're very good at it. And they're very good at spending a lot of money and not giving you value. Gold subscription. Xbox Live. Oh.
Yeah, but So I mean, but here's the thing: what if it's not a PlayStation 4 announcement?
Another thing it could be is
Is
PlayStation Vita. Maybe it's going to be an announcement of a price drop, or maybe it's
That's
an
what I was
announcement
thinking.
of, hey, look, memory cards are going to be cheaper. We're going to have this entire new launch lineup of Vita games to kickstart it. Because if you think about it, the Vita was released February 2012. It was released
Ah,
February 21st to the public, but February, I think it was 14th or something for the first edition bundle.
yeah.
So,
So
seeing that it's 1 year after launch, they could be making very big announcements about the Vita.
yeah, there's several ways you can read this,
Because the Vita
and
is the future of PlayStation.
yeah. So yeah, I think
You said
it
there are
could be
several
either
ways.
one. I'm leaning towards PS4, but at the same time, I'm not doubting that it can't be a announcement regarding the Vita.
I think it's going to be more Vita focused, if anything, or they could be saying, yeah, well, we'll announce a console. But think about it this way, there was a quote coming from Kaz Hirai saying that, well, we won't be announcing a PlayStation prior to Microsoft.
That's a good point. I forgot
They
about
came
that.
out saying that last month.
Yeah.
So why? Well, again, they're also hypocrites saying, well, we couldn't fit Rumble into our 6-axis. So yeah, we're like stuck in what does that call it? Like shit. If you meet yourself in the
Stuck in a
past,
shit?
no. What is that big famous thing that you see in space movies, like, or I mean time travel movies?
A
A
warp? Time warp?
No, when you fuck up space time.
Oh, fuck. Now,
Paradox. There you go.
time paradox. Yeah.
You could create a paradox with all
You
the
created a paradox.
mixed information from Sony. Now, Sony is like Apple. Apple could say, well, there's no reason to have a bigger iPhone. iPad comes out. So, oh, there's no reason to have a smaller iPad. iPad mini comes out. Well, Sony's like that.
Yeah.
They're going to tell you one thing and then release something else later. But, I mean, I'm looking forward to it, and here's why. Now, some know that my channel is entirely based on the fact that Sony sucks ass and they fuck gamers over. But I don't want to see a Sony that exists in that form. I want to see the old school Sony. I
You
want to
want
see the Sony from the PlayStation 2 era. The
Yeah.
Sony that gave you plenty of great games to enjoy.
A Sony that cared more about video games than it did about entertainment in general.
Well, historically they've always cared about entertainment.
Well, no, no, no. Not that Sony. God damn it. I mean, like focusing more on Blu-ray and the music service that they have on there.
Yeah, they're all about stupid ass services. Why do you call it Video Unlimited when there's no unlimited subscription? I seriously asked that question at
That's a good
CES.
point.
Doesn't make sense. Music Unlimited has an unlimited subscription where you can download it and play it unlimited music. But Video Unlimited doesn't have such a thing. It's a la carte. Doesn't fucking make sense.
That's weird.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, I look. I want to see I want to see the past become the past in a new bright future of Sony. And I had high hopes for the Vita, but I want to see a successful Sony again. I really do.
Well, that's why we rag on Sony a lot is because we actually care.
Exactly.
We want to see Sony succeed. We want Sony to be, like you said, the Sony that was responsible for the PS2 and the
Because
success of that
when
system.
Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft succeed, we reap the benefits. We really do.
Exactly. That's actually a very good point.
It's like what do you call it? A parasite. If the host succeeds, the parasite succeeds.
Yeah.
It's like that. When they make better games, we get to enjoy better games. And sadly, this past generation hasn't really been that great. I really can say that. Some people can say you're wrong. Here's all these great games, but look, from my personal experience, I think that last generation was a better generation.
Yeah.
Think about it. You had Kingdom Hearts, Jack and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank. You had, the God of War was introduced at that time. So There was
You had
plenty.
Dark Cloud. You had Dragon Quest VIII: Journey of the Cursed King. You had Grand Theft Auto 3: San Andreas Vice City. You had Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3. You know, I mean, all these awesome games. You had Persona 3 and 4.
Or Katamari Damacy, which was our
Oh,
intro
dude, I love
song.
that game. Good stuff.
You
Yeah,
know,
you had the first 3 Devil May Cries.
exactly.
Well, okay, except 2. 2 sucked, but 1 and 3 were awesome.
You had Resident Evil Code Veronica, Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil 4,
Remember The Getaway?
The Getaway, which actually is a very good game, and I highly urge people to get it if you can. It's a good game.
I mean, there were just so many great games back then, and it's like...
Well, think about it this way. Jet Set Radio.
Oh, dude.
Dreamcast was last generation.
Yeah, it was technically a
Crazy
6th-generation
Taxi.
console.
Sonic Adventure.
Let's see. I'm going down the line over here.
Amplitude.
What?
Amplitude.
Ah, dude, Amplitude was awesome. You had the first 2 Guitar Heroes, which were probably the best. No, they
We
were the
had
best.
War of the Monsters.
Oh, man, War of the Monsters was great.
Well, I'm saying that last generation was more diverse. It was more about creating new original IPs than it was about sequels.
And it looked like there was a bright future in the industry. It looked
Exactly.
like...
That's why we were looking forward to the 7th generation. We were like, oh, they're going to take what we're currently getting and make it better. But no.
We're gonna get brand new Jack and Daxter for the PS3.
Never happened.
Or at least it turns out it's a HD collection.
It's still not the
good.
same.
Yeah, I mean we got a brand new HD Ratchet and Clank,
Which was excellent.
which was the first one was good, but the second one was
Yeah, the
crap.
second one sucked.
Yeah, and ever since then, Insomniac has cared more about Resistance.
Well, they haven't released a Resistance in what, 2 years now? 1 year?
I think so. Yeah.
I'm not counting the Vita version, but, you know. I still haven't played Resistance 3.
Neither. I've only played the first one. I've never played the other ones, but
Number 2... I don't know. Number 2 was better in some respects than number 1. But it seemed more like a Halo ripoff at that point.
really.
I know number 3, they changed the weapon system back to the same thing as number 1. But number 2, you could only carry 2 weapons. It played very similar to Halo.
Oh, there's one more PS2 game I forgot to mention.
What?
Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah, and Ico.
Oh,
That's
you
true.
ever play Shadow of the Colossus?
Yes, I have.
Okay. I have that. That's really good. So.
And you look at
Yeah,
GameCube. You had Metroid Prime. You had Zelda Twilight Princess, The Wind
and
Waker.
Wind Waker.
You had Super Mario Sunshine, which, okay, it may not have been the best, but it wasn't certainly a bad game. It was good.
You had Super Smash Brothers Melee.
Yes, which is considered one of the best-selling games, or probably the best-selling game on the GameCube.
You had the Resident Evil remake. You had Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. Italian Wars was actually really good.
Well, heavily underrated.
Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem.
Yep.
Fucking awesome.
Geist.
Super Mario Sunshine.
I already said Super Mario Sunshine.
Oh, okay. And actually, it's funny when we're talking about GameCube games because I
Luigi's
just got...
Mansion.
I can't wait for the sequel.
Yeah, that's coming out next month, March?
I think so. I'm not sure.
I thought so.
But another game that was for the GameCube that was awesome that I just actually got for a few days ago.
What?
Star Wars Rogue Leader, Rogue Squadron 2.
Oh, I gotta play that.
Oh, man, it's great.
I remember the Rogue Squadron for the N64. I had that one.
That one I have, and that one's really good, too.
Yeah, you have my copy.
That's not your copy.
I thought it was.
No, I bought that at, like, the game store in town.
Oh, okay. Well, I know I gave you a few N64.
Yeah, that wasn't one of them.
I had a whole shit ton of them, but my stupid brother sold most of it to GameStop, and he only got $20. And I had like good games. Like as I always say, I had Zelda: Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask Collector's Edition. I had, what do you call it?
Which actually, I have your box for that.
Yep. Too bad you don't have the Collector's Edition copy of the game.
I wish I did.
It was cool. It had that like weird 3D sticker thing on the front of it.
It had a lenticular label on it.
Yeah.
When you move it back and forth, it was Link swinging his sword.
I had Donkey Kong 64. I had Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie. What do you call it? Super Mario 64.
Diddy Kong Racing.
Diddy Kong Racing. Mario Kart 64.
GoldenEye 64.
GoldenEye, yes.
Perfect Dark.
Yes.
Oh, 4-player versus on that was just...
Yep. And just mind you, I got $20 for all that.
That's bullshit.
Yep.
That's just... He should have never sold it in the first place.
Exactly. He should have just kept the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I'm saying is that I can't really look at this generation and be able to name anywhere near as much as last gen. I can't.
There were some good games that came out this gen, but nothing I can really think of that was mind-blowing.
Exactly. I mean, the Galaxy series is mind-blowing.
Mario Galaxy was great.
It was good. And number 2 is better in some respects, but overall, I would say they're about the same.
I mean, I'm trying to think of, like, if we're talking about Wii games that were mind-blowing.
Well, Mad World was okay.
Mad World was great.
But you know, I guess what we're really looking for is memorable.
Yeah.
And
Xenoblade Chronicles, I love that game. You didn't play that,
no.
But that was great.
And I'm thinking, like, look, was it? What's the fucking game for the PS3? Uncharted. It's not memorable because I can't remember anything that fucking happened in the game. I keep blurring it between Tomb Raider and Indiana Jones.
All I remember is at the end of the first Uncharted, there were zombies. Just out of nowhere, there were zombies.
Yeah.
And a Nazi submarine base.
It basically was a rip-off of Far Cry. I'm serious.
You're right.
It was.
Yeah. But...
Well, like, as I said, it's not one of those things where I'm like, oh, I remember that scene, and, oh, that was so cool, and, you know, oh, that scene was, you know, very moving and touching. No, there isn't. It's just, you know, Nathan Drake is a pretentious douchebag who thinks he's the coolest fucking person in the world, and I don't care.
Speaking of pretentious, you have Heavy Rain.
Which I honestly, I played the demo, and I was like,
the most boring piece of shit I've played.
Infamous, which was okay, but I didn't really enjoy the game. I
enjoyed it, but, you know, I kind of always enjoyed open city, you know.
Yeah, but I think there were far better open city games last gen.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other games.
Spider-Man 2 was like that, and it was pretty awesome.
What game?
Spider-Man 2.
I haven't played it.
That was pretty good. That was like the first one to kind of do that, where you have a superhero that could just fly around an open city.
Huh. Oh, we forgot to mention PlayStation 4 rumors.
Oh, yes.
I think it would be a good time to do that. Alright, PlayStation 4 rumors. 16 gigabytes of memory is complete bullshit, unnecessary, and most likely will not happen. I released a video on YouTube explaining and showing evidence of why you don't really need it.
Well, I have a Destructoid recently compiled all the rumors regarding the PlayStation 4.
Okay.
And just reading some of these, you can tell that they're kind of like a little out there. Especially the so-called specs.
Okay.
The PlayStation 4, supposedly this is the development kit, but either way, this is still bullshit. They're claiming that it's supposed to have 8 gigs of memory.
Okay.
Which is overkill for a console. Video memory is supposed to be 2.2 gigs.
Which is also overkill.
Yeah.
Here's why you need more video memory. Video memory is a frame buffer for higher resolution screens. Unless the PlayStation 4 is going to have 4K video for their games, it's unnecessary.
CPU is supposed to be a 4 times dual core AMD 64 bulldozer,
which is a
1.6 gigahertz.
shit processor. Look, when the bulldozer was first announced, it was supposed to be like the saving grace for AMD. It turned out to be a complete waste of time. Techies that bought the bulldozer platform were completely unimpressed, and in many cases, the Phenom 2 platform outperformed the bulldozer platform.
Really?
Yes, Phenom 2 came out before, and it's been around for a while, but AMD CPU, they're not good at it. They're not. There's a reason why AMD processors are cheap. They're shit. I think they're junk. I refuse to use them. Any little experience I have with them is disappointing. AMD just isn't that good.
Yeah.
I would love to see a day where AMD actually does good, because it's only going to mean more competition and lower prices for everybody. But right now, Intel's where it's at. But I'm very what I find very interesting, is that they're getting away from the PowerPC platform for consoles. If you think about it, the Xbox 360 is PowerPC based. The Wii U is PowerPC based. They're going towards an x86 platform with the bulldozer CPU. Okay. So I'm very, very interested in what this is going to mean. This is the first major shift for consoles when it comes to their platforms. They're basically using PC platforms. That's really what they're heading towards.
Well, anyway, GPU is supposed to be AMD R10XX with Liverpool.
Well, I'm trying to understand that. Hold on a second. So you're saying it's the RX? You're saying 10?
R10XX.
10XX. The fuck is that?
I have no idea.
Oh, someone's actually talking about a leak on that. Let's see. AMD. I'm trying to see what generation it is. Nope, everyone's just saying it's a rumor for Sony PS4.
So in other words, it just came out of someone's ass.
I don't know. It's not something that you can compare to what's out right now on PC hardware.
Okay, well, ports are supposed to be 4 USB 3.0s, which is overkill.
Wait, hold on a second. R10, AMD R10. I'm trying to see what generation was it? Huh. I really can't dig anything up right now on it.
Neither can I.
If anything, it's probably based off the Southern Islands GPUs, which are the 7000 series. Maybe it's based off that. So it's a 22 nanometer process that they manufacture them at. So it means less heat, less energy. Then again, I really wish they would just use NVIDIA.
Yeah. Why don't they use NVIDIA?
Costs more. Like I said, look, consoles are just cheap-ass PCs. That's all they are. That's why you use AMD, because AMD is cheap. You pay a premium for Intel/NVIDIA, and I'm willing to pay that.
For ports, it's supposed to have 4 USB 3.0s.
Which is overkill.
2 Ethernet ports, which is overkill.
You only need 1.
Blu-ray drive, which is all right. 160 gig hard drive at retail, maybe larger.
Okay.
And audio output, HDMI and optical 2.0, 5.1 and 7.1 channels, and headphone jack.
Why the fuck do you need a headphone jack on a console?
Because it's backwards compatible with Genesis games? I don't know.
What? Oh, yeah, the Genesis was... I was like, why the hell are you bringing that up?
I don't know.
Well, look, when it comes to Ethernet adapters, I have 2 Ethernet ports on my gaming rig on the motherboard, and the purpose that I use them for is if I ever have to be a part of 2 different networks, instead of using VLANs, I just, I have them physically connected to 2 different devices. Mostly if I'm doing like repairs and stuff, I use the 2 different ports. But for a console, there's absolutely no reason for it unless they're going to do something where, okay, you wire it into there and the other port is just a pass through. Where, okay, now I can, let's say if you have a Blu ray player that has an Ethernet port, you can put this and allow both devices to have it. I mean, I'm trying to come up with a valid reason to have two fucking Ethernet ports. Now remember, PlayStation 3, when it was first shown off at E3, it had 3 Ethernet ports. It had 2 HDMI ports. It had 6 USB ports. You know, so I think it's just going to be a developer thing. I don't think it's going to ever be, you know, a release specs. And 16 gigabytes of memory is overkill. It really is. I think the most they need is 2 to 4. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, unless you're going to do virtualization, which is why a PC gamer would need more than 8 gigs of memory. You know, if you're going to do virtualization, then yeah, you need it. But other than that, I mean, I showed Need for Speed Most Wanted uses, on average, 480 megabytes of RAM. So I'm trying to understand why we need 16 gigabytes of memory on a console. It just doesn't make sense.
It's a rumor. It's not supposed to make sense.
Exactly. It's just all stupid. And then you have these idiots like, but you need 16 gigabytes of memory because then you could do this. And it's like, you could do it with far less than that.
There's also other rumors. For example, the controller supposedly will have a small touchpad in place of the select, start, and PlayStation buttons, and the touchpad is based on the Vita's handheld rear touchpad.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Let's see. It's also the touchpad is supposed to have a share button, which will give players the ability to immediately capture and distribute screenshots and video online.
Huh.
And it will, of course, PS4 will continue to support 6-axis and move controller and all that jazz. Yeah. The online is supposed... Let's see. PS4 will allow more than one user to be logged into a single console at the same time via controllers. Accounts won't be locked to a controller, but each connected controller will require an account to associate it with.
That just seems overly complex for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
Why the fuck do you need 2 people logged in at once? Unless you're going to do, you know, okay, I'll do co-op where I would have achievements coming to my account while it's coming out to yours. We've already seen this with the Xbox 360. It's been done.
Supposedly, this will allow even distribution of trophies in games, such as all 4 logged players gaining the same achievements from defeating a difficult boss.
Yeah, so it's basically doing exactly what the Xbox 360 already does.
Yep.
Welcome to the party, Sony.
And then there's the whole possible launch titles.
What?
Including Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes, Watch Dogs, Star Wars 1313, and just new titles from other companies like Quantic Dream and EA and Square Enix and all that crap.
Oh, we'll definitely release new games on a new platform, but we're not going to give any games to the Wii U. Oh, that makes sense.
So
I'll tell you a very little known fact. There are more Wii U owners out there than PlayStation 4 owners.
Really?
Oh my god, do the math.
Jaguar.
There we go. So I don't know. I just... for me, I don't get caught up in those rumors until I believe it when I see it. You know?
Exactly.
I mean, all I can say is I can disprove rumors by showing what we currently have and where we're currently at.
Actually, it's funny you mentioned rumors because there was an interesting thing that happened a few days ago.
What?
Where there was a... Okay, I'm going to try to find the thing about this. Apparently there was some guy who was sending emails to several different several different game journalists, claiming
Okay.
to have claiming to have to be a source in like Microsoft, and I can't find it. Crap. And claiming as a source that there of a new Microsoft, new Xbox, and all that kind of crap, and it turned out not to be true. I'm trying to
Yes.
find it. Okay, yeah, here it is. Let's see. Last week, an anonymous news fairy on a mission to prove the illegitimacy of game blogs started up a false rumor detailing the specs and name of Microsoft's next console, conning a whooping 7 sites and many more. According to the follow-up analysis, it became clear that his mission was to get then a staggering waste. Yeah. In other words, what he was trying to do is he was trying to make a point about rumors and how so-called game journalists keep reporting on rumors as if they're actual news.
Yep.
So what the guy did was he sent out emails to a bunch of gaming sites claiming to be a Microsoft employee working on a new Xbox, and immediately, just less than an hour after the person sent out the email, several video game websites started claiming it as news, as if it was real.
That's because, unfortunately, the news media is a heavy market where everyone wants to be first. So a lot of times the people who are first are the stupid idiots that don't do fact checking.
Yeah. The following websites that reported on the news as major news were Yahoo, CNET, Gizmodo, VentureBeat, Tech Digest, VG247, and Now Gamer.
All different people that I don't go to for news on video games.
Yeah. And his whole point was to, instead of reporting on rumors as fact, was instead he said wait until Microslash Sony announce something. Don't believe even the most reputable gaming sites. And it's a very good point.
Exactly.
And he got a lot of crap for that, for this whole thing.
No shit.
Okay. He says here, just a small update. I would like to add that although everyone I emailed had professional manner about them, even after finding out that it was fake, there was one person who, even upon receiving the original rumor email, was completely unprofessional, childish, insulting, and downright ugly in his comments. Whether he believed the story or not, his angry and egotistical response is absolutely shocking. That person is Rob Crosley, the associate editor for CVG, and he has shown himself to be the most repugnant person I've ever known in the gaming world.
So the guy does this as a test to see who's a moron.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember this story.
This was a few days ago.
Oh, what? A few days ago? Something like this happened, I think, a year or two ago. A guy did something
Actually,
very similar.
Actually, you're right. I would say it was around 3 or 4 years ago.
The guy wrote a completely bogus blog post, about something.
It was Cheapy D from Cheap Ass Gamer.
Yes.
He was on his podcast, the Cadcast, and they were discussing the same thing, and they came up with the idea of doing something similar, whereas they posed as someone working for Microsoft, and start basically pulling bullshit out of their ass, claiming that Microsoft announced their new console. And they posted on Kotaku, which, as you know, is the tabloid of the video game industry.
Yep.
Video game journalism. And so they posted up this blog, and I think it was either the editor at the time, the current editor, who is, I forgot his name. The current editor, who was Stephen Totillo, or it was Brian Crescente. I'm not sure who it was, but they picked up on this blog post on their site.
Okay.
And they posted it as real news.
Yep.
And they soon realized that they were caught with their pants down when they realized that all the other game news sites were not posting the same thing.
Huh.
They figured it out, and like Brian Crescente was like was like freaking out, like and calling Cheapy D a liar and deceiver and all this kind of stuff. And there were several news sites who backed Cheapy D and said, no, you should have checked your sources.
Exactly.
So it's, yeah, proof that video game journalism is bullshit.
What journalism isn't bullshit?
Exactly.
All right, well, I'm going to start wrapping it up unless you have
Yeah,
anything else you want to talk about.
This is getting pretty long.
Yep.
So,
this is Jack the Bomb.
before we
John,
actually,
what?
before we go, so what games are you playing recently?
Zombie U.
Okay. As you know, I got done with Walking Dead. I've been going back with other games. I also recently got in the mail. I recently got The Legend of Zelda: The Hyrule Historia.
Which I have to steal from you.
Yes, because it's fucking awesome. Seriously, like the first half of the book isn't like the first quarter of the book is all about Skyward Sword.
Cool.
And like shows all the artwork, and it's an amazing book. Dude, next time we hang out, you gotta check this shit out.
Will do. And next time we hang out, you gotta play some Zombie U. It's definitely a great game. Jack the Bomb approved.
Awesome.
It is awesome, and what I love about it is, anything you would normally do in Resident Evil, like 4, 5, and 6, to run away from a zombie, does not work against these zombies.
Yeah.
For instance, Kevin and I decide to play the demo, and he, I'm playing it. I decide to run away from a zombie. I hide in one of the air duct vents. Well, this zombie said, nope, you ain't hiding, bitch, dragged my ass out, and proceeded to kill me.
It's pretty much a given that if you hide in an air vent, it's gonna go after you, no matter what.
I went and I'm like, you know how like zombies, they eventually try to climb up the ladder and stuff. These fuckers are smart. I'm telling you, like, there's so many times where I'm like, oh, this will work. Nope. Nope.
Now,
even if you... Huh?
Now, would you say this is what Resident Evil 6 should have been?
Yes.
You and so many other gamers are saying the same thing.
I just love the way they do it, where when your character dies, you wake up as a new character, and if you are trying to go into the same area that your previous character died in, they have all your shit. Like, all the stuff that you collected is there, and you have to kill it because it became a zombie.
That's awesome.
It is awesome, yes. It's definitely fun to play. I proceeded with playing it with headphones on in the dark by myself. I love horror games. I love horror films. Like, I don't get scared, but I enjoy it. And it's one of those games where you have to play it. My brother even said he wants to get a Wii U just to get Zombie U.
Really?
Yes, and he's a hardcore Xbox 360 gamer.
That's something.
Yeah. It's a great game. I remember people were pissed when Ubisoft announced it. Like, PS3 guys and 360 guys were like, oh, I got to get... why isn't this coming out on our platform?
Yeah.
It's a great game.
Cool.
All right, so now I'm wrapping it up. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to fucking sleep. I mean, it's 10:45 at night. I'm exhausted.
Okay, then.
Yeah, I'm done. So take care, guys. Look out for future episodes. If you want to be on the show, please send a personal message.